Thokozani Bogogo Nomkhulu. Welcome back to my channel. For those of you who don't know me and this is your first time watching my channel, my name is Usinqobile and I'm also Umkhulu Shamwani. I am Isangoma, an African spiritualist and a clairvoyant, and welcome to my channel. Today's video is very personal to me, and it's something that I've wanted to talk about for a long time, but it's something I've kind of had an internal conflict regards, and there's always been two opposing views with regards to what I'm going to talk about today. But I believe that these two things can coexist. In fact, I do believe in order to make sense of life as a reality, these things need to do coexist. So what I'm going to be talking about today is African spirituality, basically having a calling and mental illness. So the concept of mental illness in African spirituality and how having a calling can lead to having a mental illness. So strangely enough, before I found out I have a gift or a calling that I had to adhere to, I was first diagnosed with major depressive disorder, basically i.e. depression, in 2017, and that's when I started taking antidepressants. So from then onwards I started taking antidepressants, and then in 2019 I see a different psychiatrist. So from then onwards I was considered to have been misdiagnosed, and I actually have bipolar disorder. So which was surprising that it was, that I'm actually bipolar, but not really surprising because it is hereditary, so it does run in my family. And then shortly after having that diagnosis, that's when I had my calling. So when I say that, usually if you have a calling, it's likely, like if you have a diagnosed with a mental illness as an African person or a person who believes in spirituality, African spirituality, then it's likely that from a Western point of lens you will have a mental illness, which made sense to me. And even though I completed training and now I'm Isangoma, I still believe that mental illness is a chronic condition, and it's something that you have to live with for the rest of your life. Just like with having the calling, you have to practice for the rest of your life. It's not something you can be like, okay, I've done the training and I can go back to life as normal. No, it doesn't work like that. Yes, you do go back to reality, but it's all about finding your newfound reality. Né? So, from what I was taught in terms of African spirituality is that you'll display the signs of a mental illness, but you don't need the medication. Personally, I do believe that if you feel you need to take the medication, you should take it. No one will know what it's like to be you. No one will know how it's like to live your life on a day-to-day kind of premise. So it's unfair to say you don't need the medication. But for me, before I answered my calling, it was getting to a point where I wasn't taking my medication anymore. I went cold turkey. I'm going to be honest about that. Obviously before I kind of found the right medication that I was on, and I was taking it, but it was like, I'm not sure, because it wasn't helping me. And so even though technically I should be taking it, it wasn't really helping me. So I'm still sitting on the fence about it. But basically where I'm trying to go with this video is that, as I said, when you are considered to have a calling, the mental illness signs, like, it will always be there. Firstly, because if you think about it, ne, as someone who has a gift of abadala, amadlozi, your ancestors, technically, right, you have your own spirit. You as an independent entity, you have your own spirit. This is your body, but you are sharing your body. Your body is a host for other ancestral spirits in your family, right? So there'll be times where something can trigger or evoke an episode of a trance, right? Where that ancestor will use your body to speak via themselves. So that has happened to me, and in some cases, some people it doesn't get to that point. They can be themselves, like a spiritualist or a medium. They'll be themselves, and they can relay the message from the other side. Usually, that's what happens, and it also happens to me. So it's only in extreme cases where an ancestor will reveal themselves through you, like through the person who's gifted, and actually speak in first person. Do you get what I'm saying? So obviously, in a Western lens, that will be treated as, a psychotic episode, and sometimes you'll find that you'll feel moody, you'll feel antisocial, you'll feel upset, you'll cry easily. Basically, all of the signs of depression. Sometimes you won't want to even eat. Like even things as simple as waking up and making your bed will be so hard. And sometimes it might not necessarily be you, but it's the ancestor that you're hosting with, and you might not feel happy about a certain situation that you're in, and so that will come off as you having those moods like on a day-to-day basis, unless it's an extreme case of a trance, ne? Whereby then, as I said, they'll speak in a first person, and from a Western point of view, that will come across as an episode of psychosis, or you're having a manic breakdown or an extreme depressive episode. So in that case, as I said, it will come across as a mental illness. And so, with these ancestors, with a gifted person, there's someone who's their main ancestor, the main ancestor that gives them a gift. But anyone can come and go. And in the case where if you are not strong in the spiritual sense, whereby you draw your strength from whatever elements, because usually different ancestors are associated with different elements. So for example, if your ancestor is water based, you have to go now and then to the river or to the sea to do certain rituals to strengthen your connection with them. Or if they are a mountain ancestor, you go to the mountains or the forest, differently and all of that. But at some stage I will do a video on that later on, explaining, where to do the different rituals and all of that. But to strengthen that connection, because there are also other dark spirits who aren't your ancestors, who see if you are vulnerable, they will try to possess your body. Hence, in terms of Christianity, that will be considered as demonic presence or a demonic spirit. That is also present in African spirituality. Hence, because I grew up as a Catholic, there's the whole concept of exorcising, doing an exorcism, removing that evil spirit or demon from the person's body. The same in African spirituality in terms of exorcising an evil spirit. It's called Ugufemba. So they're only a Sangoma who's very strong, and it's not everyone who has that ability to exercise, because when exercising a demonic entity or an evil spirit, all of the people who are there around that spirit have to be resilient, have to be very strong spiritually, because when that spirit is removed from the host, it will literally look for anyone in that close vicinity to enter their body and possess them. And so if you're not strong, yes, you will remove that evil spirit from the person who you're performing the exorcism on, but then it's possible it could enter you if you're not strong. So kind of going off topic there, but basically it's a lifelong thing, and it's tricky, because it's tricky, and it's very interesting, because both of these concepts have been demonized, especially in a Western point of view, because African spirituality is misunderstood, and most people, they don't believe something unless they see its documented or if it can be justified by science. Which for me, I understand, but at the same time I don't, because if you think about it in terms of science, physics, energy can neither be created nor destroyed. So with spirituality, it's all about energies and vibrations, and you can't see energy in its pure form, but you can see it through the entities that it enters. You get what I'm saying? And so to try explain that in a tangible manner, I think that's very unrealistic, and I think that's very unfair, because we don't think the same. Just like how the whole concept of the left brain and right brain, where the left brain is very logical, rational, a person is into numbers and all of that and sciences, and the right brain is very artsy and creative and colorful and has a great imagination. So, and there's people who are both, and there's people who are neither. So to say these things are demonized, it's very strange to me. But it's cool because if you take the time to sit back and reflect, and you see how interchangeable these concepts are, I think it puts things into a whole lot more perspective. Because sometimes in some cases when I have a trance, I don't even remember what the ancestor came through said to me, and sometimes it will happen to me and it won't be me. It's sort of like I'll sort of like have I want to say an astral projection, but it's like I'm there but I'm not there, but like I'm watching from a third person point of view. And obviously it's not something that you can understand unless it's happening to you per se. But I guess it's an honor, because with African spirituality, there's no such thing as heaven or hell, but it's sort of like you go back and join your other ancestors and family members who passed on, and you come back as an ancestor yourself. Like there's a level to this, there's a hierarchy of ancestors. Obviously all the ancestors and people who have recently passed on, like an ancestor, there's the ancestor Idlos, and then there's Itongo. Itongo, someone who's recently passed on. Like I won't say recently, but like they're the youngest of the ancestors, so they're the ones who are genuinely asleep, right? They do have the power to transition or cross over here and there, but it's not like Idlozi. Usually when they allocate it to someone, they come back and reincarnate through that person. So as I said earlier on, you're still yourself, but you're spiritually in line with someone who passed away long ago, and they reincarnated through you. So it's sort of like they let you live your life, but they also attach to you as to guide you to be your guardian angel through this journey of life. And excuse me, in some cases some ancestors died without having fulfilled their obligations, so they need you as basically their host, to help them achieve whatever it was that they weren't able to achieve when they were alive, so that they can cross over, like finish their earthly obligations and cross over to the other side fully. So that's why some linger, because they are at peace, but they have this one responsibility to commit, and also to guide you and protect you in your own journey, so that you won't have to come over and try to get those who are living to still do a ceremony for you, whereas by the time it's your turn, you're able to give this, you merely just giving moral support and guidance and protecting that person when they are born into this earthly realm. So I think I will pick up on this again another time, just to discuss what I've reflected and what I've learned since. But bottom line is, I guess, of what I'm trying to say is, yeah, if you have a calling, chances are you have a mental illness. Yeah, it's very weird, but I think it's something, if you embrace, it's just much easier to navigate and much easier to tolerate. And yeah, I hope that video helped. And if you have any questions or comments in below, please, write below. And yeah, I'd also like to know your experiences. Maybe if you agree, if you don't agree, I'd also like to know why. I'm also, I'm curious, just to see from different views and perspectives. But yeah, all in all, thank you very much for watching this video. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye. Thokozani.